Yes, times were hard back then. Oh, that we Van Everys agree. We now say, remember when? Those days were indeed good and so free. Bill Van Every at age 85.
My full name is William Judson Van Every. I was born on November 11, 1925 in Salem, Oregon.
In many ways, Bill Van Every was an ordinary man. He wasn't rich or famous. He didn't drive a BMW or have 1 million followers on Instagram. But his footprint was profound.
He proudly served his country, though he did not believe in war. War is not the answer, he always said. Such was his peaceful nature.
Bill Van Every was a simple man who believed in the goodness of people, despite a lot of evidence to the contrary. His brother Norvell was killed by a kamikaze attack on the U.S. Intrepid in World War II. Bill served as a signalman 1C on an attack transport, the USS Hansford. Bill's most memorable event was watching from the ship's telescope as the U.S. flag was raised on Mount Suribachi. He was in Tokyo Bay at the signing of the peace treaty that ended the war with Japan.
Well, Bill and I always told the kids that we met in a hayfield. Well, that's not exactly true. And note that I said hayfield, not haystack. And I remember watching Bill work in the field. He was so neat. He could stack the hay on his wagon so none of it would slide off.
Life on the farm taught me a strong work ethic, honesty, a sense of fair play, and the importance of teamwork. Bill Van Every.
But that's just part of the story. We actually kind of knew who each other were even before that, because it was just a small town. His family went to the same church as I did, and in the school, the junior high and the high school were in the same building. So I was in the 8th grade when he was a senior, and you know, all the 8th grade girls kind of knew who the senior boys were. But we never had actually exchanged any conversations. So that was the one thing I can remember quite well. But we did get better acquainted. Our families became pretty good friends because we were neighbors. And during the war, when any of the boys would come home on leave, we usually all the neighbors got together and had a party for them. So I remember one time, I think it was when Ralph was home, the Van Every family came over and Bill was there, but I didn't pay much attention to him because I had my own friends. But when we really met was when, after he got out of the service, his brother Leo and wife Betty decided to have an outing to go to Banbury Hot Springs. So I was invited to go along, but coincidentally they invited Bill too. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but anyway, we had a fun day up there at the hot springs. And then Bill, before we got home, he asked me if I wanted to go to the movie with him that night. So that began a habit of going to the movie almost every Saturday night. So one thing led to another, and here we are, 73 years later.
After the war, Bill married Anna Mae. They had the kind of strong marriage that is hard to find today, a true partnership, for 73 years.
I must recognize my good wife Anna Mae's help in so many ways. She understands computers much better than I do. Bill Van Every.
Well, we didn't take a honeymoon because I was a milk tester, and I had 30 herds, and it required 1 day for each herd. So couldn't really get away, and really didn't have enough money anyways for a honeymoon. A charivari is when they come and, well, the way it worked out in our case, we had gone to bed.
That was the way they always did it.
Yeah, they came after you to bed and they pound on the side of the house, bring cans and things, make a lot of noise, get you out of bed, and then they bring in food and everything and have a big party. That was our chivalry. Now, some people, like some of your siblings, they did things like they required the husband to push his wife around the town square in a wheelbarrow, neat little things like that. But they were easy on us, I guess.
We didn't have a town square in Hebron.
Oh, that's right. Hebron didn't have a town square. So we lucked out.
They had 4 kids, at least 8 grandkids, and at least 11 great-grandkids, most of whom turned out pretty darn good.
When I was born, my dad was 23 and my mom was only 18 years old. The first years of my life were spent in Caldwell, Idaho, where I had a lot of fun, and my dad worked at the creamery.
He was honest and earnest and genuine and worked hard to support his family.
All of us Van Everys became addicted to ice cream. I even became an ice cream maker in a big creamery for a while. The rumor that I lost my job because I ate too much of the product is not true. Bill Van Every.
When I was 8, my dad decided to go to college, which was a really big deal because it changed everything in our lives. He had to work all the time and then go to college, so it was hard.
Bill was a farm boy, shy and a little awkward, but with his intrepid wife Anna Mae and his kids by his side, he took a great leap and got a master's in counseling from Columbia University in New York City.
What Anna Mae and I attempted to do when we changed directions way back in the early 1950s, trying to do something with our lives other than just earning a living. So that's when we made the big decision for me to go back to college and get a degree and do something with it. So then by just some chance factors, went into the teaching profession and found that I would say the hardest job I ever did, but also the most rewarding kind of job. So I think that's what I'm most proud of.
From the potato farm to the Big Apple. Not bad for a farm boy from Idaho.
He was a learned man who shared his wisdom, choosing teaching as his profession, wanting to make the world a better place. Such was his dedication.
And then we moved to California, where he worked as a counselor and teacher for many, many years. I was always so proud of my dad for finishing college and being the college student. He wanted to make a big change in his life for the better, make his family life better, do something good for the world and for other people. And I think he was able to do that by going to college. I think it was the biggest achievement of his life.
My life's journey has taken me to very different places than our farm in Idaho. I sometimes wonder what kind of person I would have become had I been a farmer. Bill Van Every.
He strived to be authentic, the real deal, an ordinary man, but he was more than that, extraordinary in fact, and more than capable. Such was his humility.
Bill was a teacher and a counselor and an ice cream maker and a great dad and grandpa. He was a modest man of great integrity who carved wood.
My dad, William Judson Van Every, was very well loved and highly respected. And I found a verse in Proverbs 20, verse 7, that describes him perfectly. The just man walketh in his integrity, his children are blessed after him.
He believed in the spirit of Christmas, wished it could last all year. Giving is better than taking, he thought. Such was his generosity.
So for about 2 years, if you lived in King City and you got a morning paper, I would be your paper boy. And so every day I'd get up and about dark 30 and load up 150 to 200 San Jose Mercury, San Francisco Chronicle, a few LA Times, and put them on my saddlebags on my old Schwinn bike and deliver them, except Sundays. Now Sundays were different. Typically my stack of bundles from my papers were taller than I was. And to deliver those on a bike, you could only carry 8 or 10 of them. It would literally take hours to get that done. So my dad would show up in the 62 Chevy Impala, and we would load those papers in the back seat clear to the roof. And a lot of times they'd spill over onto the front seat, and he'd handle one side, throwing them onto the driveway on one side of the street, and then I'd take the other side, and we could get my whole route done in no time. And one Sunday, he threw a paper and hit Mr. Prussick's sprinkler valve, and all his sprinklers came on at 5 o'clock in the morning, sprayed water all over. My dad and I laughed about that for many years. And I don't think I ever asked him for the help. And he just came to help me, and that's just the way he was. He saw that I needed it, and so he was there. And I don't think I ever thanked him for that. And I've always wished I did. But I am thankful, not just for that, but for everything that my dad did, and just for him always being there for me.
Despite making my share of mistakes, my life has worked out all right. I think I had a good life. Bill Van Every.
Bill's legacy will be etched in history by the people he loved. Have a good flight, Bill. We'll miss you. Rest in peace.
It was good, but you had a booger on your nose.
Did I really?
No.
Could have told me before.
Edit that out.